The snow didn't fall gently that winter. It swallowed sound, swallowed light, swallowed men. Somewhere deep in the frozen forests of Finland, a single figure lay buried beneath layers of white camouflage, so still he seemed less like a man and more like part of the land itself. The Soviet column moved cautiously through the trees, boots crunching, breath fogging, rifles gripped tightly. They knew he was out there. They just didn't know where. The first shot didn't echo. It cracked, sharp and clean, and the soldier at the front of the patrol dropped without a sound. The others froze. Eyes darted. Fingers tightened. But there was nothing. No muzzle flash, no movement. Only the endless white silence pressing in on them. Somewhere, unseen, Simo Häyhä chambered another round with practiced calm, his gloved fingers steady despite the biting cold. He had been here for hours already, maybe longer. Time blurred in the frozen stillness. His world had narrowed to the rifle, the scope, and the faint shapes moving between the trees. Each breath was controlled, shallow, to keep the snow from puffing and revealing his position. Even his heartbeat felt like a risk. Another shot. Another body collapsed into the snow. Panic began to ripple through the Soviet ranks. Orders were whispered, then barked, then lost entirely as men scrambled for cover that didn't exist. Trees became shields, but they were thin and unreliable. The sniper knew every angle, every shadow, every line of sight. This was his terrain. They were trespassers. By nightfall, the forest was quiet again, except for the wind. The Soviets pulled back, dragging their wounded, leaving behind the still forms of the dead. Somewhere out there, they knew, a ghost had been watching them. But the next day, they returned, this time with more men, more guns, more determination. And still, he waited. Simo shifted slightly beneath the snow, adjusting his position as the first light of dawn crept across the landscape. His face was wrapped, his body insulated, but the cold seeped in regardless. It always did. Still, he didn't move more than necessary. Movement was death. The Soviets tried a different approach. They spread out, advanced slowly, scanning every inch. Snipers among them searched for a glint, a flicker, any sign. They fired blindly into the trees, hoping to provoke a response. Nothing. Then, another shot. A Soviet sniper dropped, his rifle slipping from his hands as he crumpled into the snow. The others reacted instantly, unleashing a barrage of fire toward the approximate direction. Bullets tore through branches, shattered bark, kicked up sprays of snow. But Simo was already gone. He had shifted positions, inch by inch, using the terrain, using the chaos. He knew they would focus on where he had been, not where he was. Another shot followed, then another, each one deliberate, each one final. Hours stretched into days. The Soviets grew desperate. They brought in artillery, blanketing sections of forest with explosive force. Snow erupted, trees splintered. The ground itself seemed to convulse under the bombardment. Surely nothing could survive that. And yet, when the shelling stopped, the silence returned. Then the shots began again. It was no longer just a battle, it was a hunt. And they were not the hunters. Men whispered stories at night, huddled together for warmth. They spoke of a phantom, a spirit of the forest, something inhuman that couldn't be seen or stopped. Fear spread faster than orders could contain it. Some refused to advance. Others fired at shadows, nerves fraying with every passing hour. On the third day, they sent in their best. Counter-snipers, trained and patient. They moved carefully, methodically, determined to end it. One of them spotted something, a slight disturbance in the snow, barely noticeable. He steadied his rifle, breath held, finger tightening on the trigger. But he hesitated for just a fraction of a second too long. The shot came first. When they finally reached the spot, cautiously, weapons raised, they found only the imprint of where he had been. A shallow depression in the snow. No blood, no sign of struggle, just emptiness. By the time the Soviet forces withdrew again, the forest had reclaimed its silence. The wind swept over the tracks, erasing evidence, as if none of it had ever happened. Somewhere, far from the chaos, Simo Häyhä moved through the trees, unseen, unheard, already preparing for the next encounter.